inauguration function of IAS Professional Course Phase 2 2018, sir. The function will start with the Academy song. I cordially request all the participants to stand up for the Academy song. Good morning, everybody. On the occasion of inaugural function of IAS Professional Course Phase 2 2018 batch, on behalf of the course team, I cordially welcome Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Minister of State for Personal, Public Grievance and Pensions, and the chief guest of this inaugural function. I also welcome Dr. Sanjeev Chopra, Director LBSNE. I welcome Professor Srimati P. Amoda, who is joining online. I welcome course coordinator Shri N.K. Sudhanshu and his course team members, all the faculty members present here in this hall, all the staff members, and all the 185 officers trainees of 2018 batch of this course who are with us online from various parts of the country. Now I invite Srimati Monica Dhami, Deputy Director Senior and Associate Course Coordinator, to deliver welcome speech.
A virtual good morning to everyone joining us online to herald the beginning of Phase 2 training of 2008 batch of IAS officers. These are indeed extraordinary times where information technology has stretched the limits of learning beyond classroom. Knowledge has traveled beyond classrooms to encompass the remotest corners of this diverse country. Conducting classes online is not an ingenious or a novel idea of our times, but never has been its significance, reach, and depth driven home so ruthlessly as now, and that too by a tiny virus beyond human control. And as the premier institute of civil service training, LBSNA has embraced this metamorphosis with both speed and grace. I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Union Minister for Personnel, Public Grievance and Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Space, and MERS in the Prime Minister's Office. Sir, your virtual presence amongst us has not reduced the warmth and positivity of your persona. And here, I echo the sentiments of entire LBSNA fraternity when I say that we are indeed privileged and fortunate to be led by your gracious and democratic approach towards training at LBSNA. Every virtual meeting with the Honorable Minister in these challenging times has ended with a sense of gratitude, happiness, and a resolve to perform better, all due to your contagious charm and enduring demeanor, sir. A heartiest welcome again to you, sir. And now, a non-floral but equally warm welcome to Dr. Sanjeev Chopra, Director of this prestigious academy, whose passion for academic rigor with administrative acumen continues to define and redefine the contours of our training programs. A very warm welcome to Madam P. Amuda, who with her unbridled energy and enthusiasm, even in quarantine, continues to inspire and guide us all. I further extend a very warm welcome to the course team, dear Manoj, Alankrita, Milind and Gauri in quarantine, and our esteemed faculty and language faculty who have actively participated in each discussion and the marathon meetings that has preceded the preparation of Phase 2. This welcome address would be incomplete without a specific mention and welcome to Shri Niranjan Kumar Sudhanshu, course coordinator of Phase 2, whose democratic style of functioning and decision making, interspersed with bouts of silent authoritarianism, has ensured that the course trajectory remains on track and nothing but excellence is the pursuit, whether online or offline. The pleasure to work with you, sir, is entirely ours. And while all sections and specific teams within LBSNA have always risen to join hands and deliver each course flawlessly, this course owes most of all to the computer team who have given us this day, not our daily bread, but a beginning of smooth and seamless interaction. My heartfelt welcome to you all. And now to those for whom the bell tolls. The passionate, the impatient, the restless, the energetic, the spirited, and partly the heavy-hearted officer trainees of 2018 batch. Though you could not make it to LBSNA, we will try our best to make this one, as our director says, the best online program this academy has ever delivered. A very welcome to all of you, and may your paths be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your welcome speech. Now I will invite Professor N.K. Sudhanshu, course coordinator, for presentation of the course design.
Thank you, Milind. Good morning to all of you. Chief guest of today's function, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Minister of State for PMO, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pension, Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Space, Dr. Sanjeev Chopra, Director of the Academy, Amuda Madam, joining us online, faculty members at LBSNA, the course team of Phase 2, and the officer trainees and participants of Phase 2. Let me start with welcoming and thanking our chief guest for gracing the inaugural function today. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Before arrival of June this year, never did I imagine that during the inaugural function of Phase 2, we will be speaking to you in Nehru Auditorium that will be almost empty. A good part of the sessions in phase 1 were done online this year, but we thought that we would be listening to your wonderful experiences from field, your learnings, achievements and challenges in person. But this is difficult time for the country and the world, and I think the pandemic of COVID has changed everything we used to consider normal. The new normal is in the process of setting in, and we have to really adapt very fast to ensure that we all survive and develop. So there are 185 participants in phase 2. This includes 179 officer trainees from the 2018 batch of IAS, 3 officers from 2017 batch, and 3 officers from Royal Bhutan Civil Services. And as you can see, sir, at the bottom of the screen there are about 194 people online as of now. This includes some of our faculty members who are joining us online. All of us here as counselors, sir, we have been speaking to all the OTs, reading their DO letters and discussing with them their experiences in the field. All of us realize that this batch, your batch, has got more than fair share of the challenges in the field, so much so that in many states the usual pattern of the district training changed, and you worked as incident commanders in the charge of COVID management machinery in your jurisdiction, almost all of you. We all hope that this challenging time will pass and we would come out of it with minimum damage and with our hopes still high. And when we get to that point, all of you and us can take pride in the contribution that you would have made in getting there. The course team has designed a course for you that will allow all of you to share your experiences in many areas of administration that you had in the last 1 year and learn from each other's experiences. All of you have experienced the management of COVID pandemic. Many of you have worked in conduct of election. You have also worked on the brick kiln assignment and have analyzed the issues relating to it. You'll be able to work in groups and share your experiences in these areas with the batch and also with the field officers who will be present as guest speakers and contributing their thoughts and wisdom. Sir, the officer trainees have got opportunities to work in the sectors of their choice or the sectors more prominent in the districts of their postings. For example, some have worked on urban issues, some have worked in education, law and order, land administration, etc. Based on the choice of the sector, the officer trainees will be working in groups and presenting their approach to a practical problem given to them. For example, some of you will be presenting on the topic, how will the education, skill and job challenges in the country change in the post-COVID India. In sectoral topics also, you will be guided by the young officers from the field who have done well in these sectors and also by the faculty at LBSNA. So, the officer trainees will also be sharing the learnings from the district or work done by them in the district that they wish to share with the batch. Their work may be small or big, but the learning can be very long lasting. I remember during experience sharing presentation in our batch, one of my batchmates presented how he was asked to remove a dead elephant urgently from the middle of a road in a remote taluka with very less resources in hand. To us, it appeared very funny the way he presented it, but there was a very important point or a very important lesson for all of us. You will be called to do something very unexpected and you will have to be ready to perform. To learn some important skills required in the field, we will have speakers who have done well in the field, like managing large events, executing very large projects, dealing with high profile corruption cases, etc. And every 2 to 3 days in a week, we are going to listen to the thought leaders from various walks of life like history and culture, health, healthcare, cinema, arts, etc. I'm sure that these discussions will give all of us a better view, or rather a 360 view of the world. We will have inputs on some critical skills like negotiations, communication, ethics and RTI. But this is not all. The clubs and societies, with your support, will organize activities, online of course, that will be interesting to participants. We have photography, painting competition lined up from the Hobbies and Natures Club that I know. Sir, the successful completion of the course, the officer trainees will get after completion of the course, the officer trainees will get an MPA degree from Jawaharlal Nehru University. And one of the important and compulsory requirements of the MPA degree is successful completion of dissertation. The officer trainees have chosen topics of their interests and worked under their respective guides to collect data and write dissertation report. The dissertation will be completed with a viva voce by external experts, where the OTs will be presenting the findings and the answers to the questions that they framed. So this is the first time that a full-fledged course is being delivered online. This we hope will not become the norm, but we have to learn to use the online platform well. We also hope that the officer trainees of this batch will soon get an opportunity to come together at LBSNA when the COVID situation improves. I once again welcome everybody and hope that the course will be useful to all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your detailed briefing. Now I invite Dr. Sanjeev Chopra, Director LBSN, to deliver his address.
Thank you, Milind. Honorable Union Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh, we've already heard the departments, the number of departments he holds, so I will not repeat that. It's a very comprehensive charge that he has, but more than that, it is his charm, his elan, and his sense of conviction, and his positive strokes which he gives to everybody that marks him out as a great leader. And my colleague Monica has already mentioned about that. My Professor P. Amuda, who is in quarantine at the moment, members of the course team, Sudhanshu, Manoj, Monica, Alankrita, Gauri, who's also online, Dr. Milind, Ramtek, my colleagues on the ACM, Nandini Paliwal, Ashwati, Vidya Bhushan, Professor Sunita Rani, Professor Ramachandran, members of the language faculty, Kumudni Nautiyal, Alka Kulkarni, Arshad Nandan, Bhavna Purwal, P.P. Singer, and Munitha Nathan. And last but not the least, the officer trainees of the 2018 batch for whom this course is being curated. Let me not start with the welcome, because for the last few days I've been thinking on how to begin this address, because conventionally all addresses begin with a welcome. But I know that more than the welcome, I need to address the apprehensions in your mind, because the officer trainees have been expressing this apprehension off and on. And I'm very glad about it, because it also shows that you have had the confidence and the trust in us to say what you wanted to say. I know that there is a sense of anguish and hurt, and many of you have written to me saying that the academy could have invited you, the alma mater should have opened its doors for you, but why did we shy away from a responsibility? In fact, that's a term which one of you used, that why do you shy away from your responsibility? And therefore I thought that in this address, let me talk to you about issues in perspective. Let's understand what is governance and decision making in difficult times. Let's understand how do we hear voices beyond groupthink. What is the sense of perspective? Understanding that good is not an enemy of the best, but a step in that direction. And also give you a synoptic view on what your alma mater and your faculty have been doing during the times of COVID. So I will first start with governance and decision making. You see, as administrators, implementing decisions which may not be popular in the immediate or short run is part of our mandate. It's a mandate that we have to recognize. Not every decision which the government will take will be popular, and at times we will be asked to implement decisions which are not popular. Because when decisions are taken, they are taken by looking at circumstances and information that is currently available to you. It's also not important, it's important that we explain the reasons for and the circumstances under which decisions are taken and the multiple stakeholders involved, because then understanding the process of how decision is made will also help you to become better administrators. Right now as we speak, 3 of our faculty colleagues, Amuda, M.H. Khan and Gauri Joshi, are on home quarantine. It is not just for their own health, but it is also for the health of others around them that it becomes important. I agree that we have erred on the side of caution, but circumstances like this do call for prudence, and I am sure this will resonate with many of you. The second point which I want to share with you is that we got to look beyond the groupthink. And I felt that even in our group, in the 2018 batch, the groupthink took over. The popular or the dominant view is certainly that we should have a course at the academy. I quite agree. In fact, I would have also been very happy if the course is held here. But I'm a bit concerned about the fact that there were many voices who wrote to us privately saying that they do not want the course online. Now, the environment that gets created in a groupthink is that some of us or some people begin to feel a little insecure about saying what they wish to say. Now, for administration, it is very important that all voices must be heard. All voices, and I say all voices, I mean the voice of those who are not so open, who are not so confident about coming to the fore. Those voices will also have to be heard. They must be heard. And for everyone, just as the academy has a plan B, you must have multiple variants of this. And this, as Sudhanshu has already told you, in fact, I thought it was the director's privilege, but the CC took that privilege of sharing with you that my batchmate, who was also the secretary DOPT, and the academy are convinced that as and when the assistant secretary's training program is held, before or after that, we will invite you to the academy to spend some time here, because, and this also has to be seen in perspective. And when I talk about perspective, let me take you to 2 examples, both of which happened in the academy, but both of which you are not aware of because you were not present at that time. The first is that on 1st September 2019, on the occasion of the Diamond Jubilee of the Academy, your chief guest, Dr. Jitendra Singh, made a very important point. We were talking about 60 years of the Academy. And he said that 60 years is a milestone in the life of an individual. A milestone in the life of an individual. A chapter in the history of an institution. But for a nation or a civilizational entity like India, this 60 years is just a footnote in history. So we've got to understand the much larger ideas, and so you have to place these 5 weeks of phase 2 in the much larger canvas of history. And the second point which I wish to make is again something which happened in this room in the Nehru Auditorium when Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba was addressing the phase 3. He was asked a question that why is it that the IAS does not become a specialist service? And he gave a very interesting and a very important answer. He said, you are context specialists. You are specialists in understanding the context of things. And therefore, in the context of today, the online course is the best example of how we manage the context of our time. And therefore, I would like to congratulate the course team for having designed a course which reflects the context of the times. The next takeaway which I want to give you is, let not good be an enemy of the best. Good is a step towards the best. And it's true that the beauty of this campus cannot be replicated. The climate of this place cannot be replicated. I mean, the clouds just waft in. I mean, the birds are beautiful. The bird song is very nice. And so Manoj Nair, your course team member, spends more time with the birds and the flora and the fauna than he does with the course team, pun intended. But you see, the fact is that look at the positive side. Normally at this point of time, your academy's faculty would be so busy with phase 3, with the MCPPs, with the civil military program, with the gender center, with so many issues that, you know, it's not really possible for us. We would not have been able to give you this kind of quality time which has been spent in preparing this online course. As the director, let me assure you that we've not been, as an academic council, we've not spent more time on any course than we had on this particular course, and therefore it's also a very positive aspect. Monica mentioned about the little virus. What does this little virus teach us? This virus teaches us that while circumstances will never be under our control, our attitude is certainly in our control. How we react to things is certainly within our control. How do we look at it individually, collectively, and institutionally? Do we sit back and do nothing? Or do we take the challenge in our stride? Do we take an active and engaging role? In fact, as frontline warriors of the COVID, you have done precisely this. You have led from the front and given the people in your district a sense of confidence. I'll now share with you about what the Academy was doing in the times of COVID. We did what we are best at doing, performing our role as a lead knowledge organization with a bias for action. Within days, an online collaborative platform called Karuna was initiated with 22 service associations for the first time ever. And we got a very positive response. We have mentioned in the report that this is by the anonymous civil servant, but having said that, 3 individuals need to be acknowledged. Mr. B.K. Jha of the Indian Revenue Service, our own K. Srinivas, then the ASDOPT and now the EO, and Archana Verma, who is now Principal Secretary Transport. They were the ones who took a lot of initiative in this. And then the Center for Disaster Management here, under the leadership of P. Amudha and C. Sridhar, who is now at the PMO, was able to document government orders and best practices of all district administrations, disaster management departments, and health departments as the one-stop source. The Honorable Prime Minister tweeted about Karuna, and that gives us a lot of confidence in ourselves. As Monica has mentioned, we've had regular interactions with the DOPT, including with the Chief Guest for today's function, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and he's given us positive strokes and motivated us to continue our good work on a range of issues, from IGOT to the initiative of the Social Services Society to make masks. So look at the range that he's covered. Thanks to him, the Women and Child Development Minister, Smriti Irani, has given the Gender and Child Rights Center at the Academy additional responsibilities. And Alankrita and her team are now looking at the entire gamut of issues concerning not just women in civil services, but the syllabi of UPSC, publication of books on heroes by the National Book Trust, strengthening the machinery at district level to ensure that the multi-institutional efforts become real in the real sense of the term. Your faculty was engaged in online discussions and webinars on a range of issues with the JPAL team, the Khan Academy, to understand and prepare the online content, with the National Institute of Smart Governance, with the Institute of Human Settlements and the All India Institute of Local Self-Government. And there's one initiative which the CVC has supported, and the CVC, this came out in discussion with the Chief Vigilance Commissioner. Your academy will now be involved in studying transparency in procurement of primary commodities, an initiative which involves working with IRMA, the Indian Statistical Institute, Manage, Bamnicon, NEML, FCI, NEFED, NDDB, among others, to understand how institutional arrangements and processes and technology can make these transactions easier. This is being coordinated by Milind Ramtek under the mentorship of P. Amudha. The Academy will also be coming out with the publication on the world through Amudha's terrace and windows, because the skills are improving with each sunrise in the Academy. As the head of the TRPC and the Faculty for Languages, Nandini Paliwal is now the principal head hunter for the Academy, and this is indeed an important task, for an institution is made by the people who come and teach here, and most importantly, act as their counselors. And I have to admit that the counselor sessions and the informal one-to-ones are the ones that we in the faculty will miss in equal measure. The TRPC is also engaged in the preparation of new case studies, and this has been ably supported by our professors of management, Sunita Rani, and our professor of law, Shri S. Ramachandran. You will be glad to learn that our senior deputy director, Ashwati S., has been accepted at Oxford. She leaves in September But in addition to her preparation for Oxford, she's been studying public health systems in Kerala, books on V.P. Menon, and the early Indians besides Virginia Woolf, Shashi Deshpande, and Geeta Sen. Manoj, as I said, is on your course team, but he's doing a lot of Zen meditation while taking his bike to all the forlorn places in search of flora and fauna, and hopefully we shall have the coffee table book by the end of this phase 2, or maybe later. The PMO and the DPIP asked us to work on mapping of GIs in the different states and different districts. Once the website is ready, you will also be able to provide your inputs. This task has been undertaken by Monica Dhami and Vidya Bhushan, whom we have designated as the honorary paper tiger, and he will soon explain this concept to you in detail when he interacts with you. Monica Dhami has revamped the souvenir shop and has been in touch with NIFT for designing the Academy's formals, tracks, accessories, and sundries. Don't feel low that you don't have physical access to the souvenir shop, because once the products are ready, they will also be available online. She's worked quite hard on redesigning the module on ethics for your batch, and I can assure you that it will be a very engaging session. So do check out your Immanuel Kant before the categorical imperative hits you. Gauri has been writing verses in lockdown, apart from other things, and the quality of her verse can be imagined from the extract from this prose. And she says, the poems, as she calls it, poems, they seem to be trickling out of me like persistent rain leaking through old roofs. And then, quite like the whimsy of rain, the flow subsided, leaving me confused about whether I ought to stir my cauldron of thoughts afresh, or soak in the grains of the desert sand that the verse has left in its wake. Perhaps I've chosen the latter for now, involuntarily. Let us not test fate by throwing the precious present into the arms of the future, which may be unaware or caught by surprise. Unquote. Now you can imagine the quality of the special issues of Administrator that will be brought out under her editorship. As far as I am concerned, I have spent a lot of time in the library working on the mapping of Indian states, aspirations, assertions, and adjustments. Because every ethnic or linguistic group in the country has been aspiring for and asserting the right for a separate state, but has settled for something in between. This is an adjustment, and the quest for the reorganization continues. This will also be on the IGOT platform soon. Before closing, I'd like to compliment you on the quality of your dissertations and your assignments, your duo letters, and especially the brick kiln assignment. The sensitivity shown by many of you in understanding the issues faced by women and children engaged in this primary sector of construction industry is indeed commendable. We have received expert comments as well, and if you can, as a batch, ensure that the entire value chain in the construction sector, from the manufacture of bricks to a zero carbon footprint in the building, can be done as per BIS norms, you would have done human service to the nation. I close for now because we are all looking forward to the address of our Honourable Minister, and I look forward to the first ever online phase 2 in times when the virtual is the new real. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring address. Now I cordially invite Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Union Minister and Chief Guest of this function, to deliver inaugural address. Sir.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So good morning, and by the time I finish saying good morning, we are already stepping into good afternoon. And trust me and you that this is not happening virtually. This is the real time mark of day happening. So, joining us in this session this morning, our erudite director of the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, Dr. Sanjeev Chopra, course coordinator, Professor Sudhanshu, assistant course coordinator, Monica Dhami, members of the faculty, officer trainees from IAS 2018 batch, IAS 2017 batch, and also from the Royal Bhutan Civil Services. Ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed meeting under strange circumstances in a very unusual manner under the shadow of Corona. But I would slightly disagree with what Monica said. She started off saying virtual good morning. I would rather say the good morning is real, the meeting is virtual. And all of us, I believe, are actually really placed where we are, though we may be seeing each other on the screen. So good morning and welcome to the screen. Actually, what is happening is that we are also getting used to this new kind of phenomena which has started only a few weeks back, and trying to learn the demarcation between the real and the unreal, between the virtual and the non-virtual. So we sometimes tend to forget where the virtual has ended and real has begun. But all of us are real souls, listening to each other, talking to each other, maybe through the medium of electronic devices. And of course, as was being mentioned by Dr. Chopra, many of you would have desired to be there physically in your alma mater. And I can understand that feeling, that sentiment, and also the feeling of nostalgia and déjà vu. And what to talk of you, I myself am missing that. Particularly while sitting in this hot, humid environment of Delhi, you can very well imagine what a great relief it would have been to be in the cool climes of Mussoorie, far away from the humid heat of Delhi's July. But nevertheless, over the last 10 weeks, we have proved to the world that we have the capacity, India has the capacity to move on, to carry on with the show by whatever means, by other options. Dr. Chopra was referring to the mutual ambiguity between the good and the best. But I can say with all the confidence at my command that before he finished completing his address, he had already converted the good into the best. And therefore, he deserves to be complimented for having made this first ever online professional course at its inaugural session as effective and as influential as it would have been otherwise. And also, the manner in which this transformation has occurred, and we've been able to reorient ourselves within a short span of time. He was referring to what I said when I visited the academy on the occasion of Diamond Jubilee nearly a year back. And yes, I did say, and I recall, that for an academy 60 years makes a huge sense, but in the individual's life, it doesn't occupy even a footnote of a chapter. And therefore, for an academy or a nation, 60 years does not even qualify to be receiving the attention of a chapter. But in the case of an individual, all of us, you know, and you being the civil servants who are going to take up your responsibilities, 60 is a figure with ominous connotations. That is the year of superannuation. And of course, there are another 5 years, which I say the window between 60 and 65, when many civil servants may get accommodated in some other capacities. So an individual span of years does not match up to the span of life in the age of an academy or the age of an institution. But what matters is that how best we have been able to nourish it over the last 60 years. Dr. Chopra also, I could sense, was slightly apologetic in his opening remarks when he said that he could not arrange this or host this program in the premises of the academy, though he would have wished to. I would reassure him saying that the corona has possibly constrained us from not doing so. But the other day someone was asking me, would we have to live with corona forever? And my instant response was, don't worry, we are Indians. The corona will soon learn to live with us. And therefore, I am sure whatever course this corona phenomena takes next time, we would be there physically meeting each other in the premises of the academy. And I hope Dr. Chopra will not use the excuse of online to deprive us of his sumptuous hospitality and the bouquets and the banquet. Having said that, coming back to the essence of this professional course that we are going to launch from today and the inauguration of which is happening right now. All of us very well understand and know that the civil services are the backbone of governance. And as Sardar Patel said and described this as the steel frame. And to my understanding, to achieve good governance, you have to have good civil servants. Because the essential tool of governance is a civil servant, a bureaucrat. Unfortunately for us, we have a Prime Minister in the form of Shri Narendra Modi, who has a natural aptitude for governance, and at the same time he has eye on each and every minute detail. And he has over the last 6 years very effectively given us a new direction and a new orientation. Civil services, if we trace the history, has been evolving from day to day, from year to year, beginning right from the dawn of independence. And I always say that sometimes at the time of inception of the Indian civil service, Indian administrative services in the late 1940s, somebody had written that it was a reincarnation of the erstwhile Indian civil services of the British Raj. And I said the comparison was unequal. Unequal because for the simple reason, if you cite a single instance, that in the Indian civil services, the British Raj, a district head was known as a district collector because he was expected to collect the revenue for the empire and at the same time impose the writ of the empire on the subjects. But here, we prefer to refer to him as district development commissioner or a deputy commissioner or a district magistrate because he is expected to generate revenue for the welfare state. Over the years, the expectations have increased, the accountability has increased. The civil servant today is much more accountable, answerable. Transparency is absolute. Even in the DOPT, which offers the logistic support to the academy, most of the decisions taken in the department are in the public domain or on the website, even before we are able to communicate or correspond with each other. Such is the haste to be as much transparent as possible. And this has been given a huge boost by Prime Minister Modi. He gave us the mantra of maximum governance, minimum government. He pushed us into expeditious digitalization. And he also emphasized on the ease of governance, and to my mind, the ease of governance would eventually lead to the ease of living, which is in fact the ultimate goal of any successful governance. He emphasized on capacity building, and that's how we initiated this 3-month stint of assistant secretaries. Soon after you complete your training in Mussoorie and go over to the respective state cadre, you have to spend 3 months in the central government. This was a very out-of-box idea, absolutely unorthodox. Many of us are not actually confident about it. The Prime Minister gave us a free hand and asked us to move on and then try to gather inputs from the experience we gained. But now looking back, since it's been started for the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen that even those of you who have gone to the districts look back to this experience with a great amount of enthusiasm and nostalgia, and they are convinced that this has added value to their capacity and given them much more confidence and the potential of initiative. We also try to give you a feel of what contemporary India was evolving into, and that's how Dr. Chopra would recall the conclusion of the foundational course happened in the footsteps of the statue of Sardar Patel in Gujarat, which was something never practiced before. And at the same time, since the emphasis was to extract the maximum from the potentials of the civil servants, we were also conscious of the fact that while we were following a policy of zero tolerance towards corruption and also emphasizing high levels of performance, sometimes even trying to do away with the dead wood, but at the same time, we were also careful to give you an environment, a work-friendly environment where you could work without feeling intimidated and give full flight to your capacities, your potentials, your capacities, your skills and your talents. And that's how, after 30 years, the Prevention of Corruption Act of 1988 was finally amended in 2018, which then incorporated a number of new provisions which would act as a safeguard for honest performing officers. For example, now the bribe giver is as much to be held guilty as a bribe taker, so that a performing officer working in good faith is not subjected to frivolous complaints and subjected to harassment. We've also made the decision making of the PC Act time bound, so that if at all there is to be decision taken, it has to be taken in time, and in case an officer is innocent, he should not be allowed to live in stress, which would be a huge distraction, and huge distraction, as I said, would be in fact at the cost of good governance. Similarly, about 3 years back, we conceptualized the new idea and experiment of aspirational districts. We have around 115 of them across India. And we tried to place the young collectors over there, the young deputy commissioners. Because there was a view that these aspirational districts had not lived up to the aspiration required, because we had about 49 indicators. It's a hugely scientifically devised method of designating a district as an aspirational district, which are not necessarily backward district, because I wish to clarify that too, because a particular district may be otherwise highly advanced but be lacking in one of those 49 indicators. So the idea was, we had a real-time dashboard monitoring. The idea was to raise that indicator to the level of the state best indicator and then to the level of national best indicator. And we've indicated our view that wherever we had young deputy commissioners, the rise in those standards of indicators was much faster, which in fact showed how much motivation and how much of commitment this new experiment had inspired and generated. Luckily or unluckily, you have also gone through this training phase when you had to manage or live with COVID. So the batches of office trainees come and go. They have been coming and going for the last 60 years in the academy. But you have made history of sorts. I don't know whether for good or for bad, because you would be the only batch who would have had the experience of receiving training also vis-a-vis COVID, as was being mentioned by Dr. Chopra. And during these trying times, the academy, as has been its reputation, lived up to fantastic, innovative ideas. You launched Karuna, which, as the director mentioned, received attention of the Honorable Prime Minister himself. In DOPT, we had a platform called iGot, which launched a special